Yes, wonderful viewers, wonderful listeners out there. This is Judges Smith Ube, the anchor person for this program. Here in the studio, I have one of my sons, Akin Onifade.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
He used to be in Nigeria, but he has decided to jackpot. He's now living with his family in Australia.
That's correct.
He came for a short visit, and I decided to pull him to YDI studio to interview him. So tell us what's happening in Australia.
Australia is a very beautiful country and continent.
It's a continent.
Yeah, it's the only continent that is a country. It's the only country that is a continent.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's big.
It's big.
And then the opportunities are vast.
Mm.
And if you are not lazy, if you have value to add, if you go through the right pathways, then you can. Of course, it's just like any other Western world. It will be rough at the initial stage, but then over time it's something. And then people keep asking me since I got there now to make comparisons between Australia, Canada, and the UK. I think Australia top the chart for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
When you were here in Nigeria, you were into agriculture.
Yes,
Are you taking it over to that place to do agriculture over
Well,
there?
in the long run, yes, I might want to explore that option because there are a lot of opportunities. Australia is known to grow what they eat, and also unlike here where we import a lot of things, and then partly it was some of those challenges I faced that made me just decide, no, it's not. You walk like an elephant, and then you eat like a ant at the end of the day. And then it climaxed during. So now this is anticipating your next question as to why I traveled or why I relocated. So it climaxed during what's it called? NSAS 2020.
Okay.
My business had a downturn. Even pre-2020, my business had a downturn. There was no government intervention. We couldn't move products out from the farm to people because it was lockdown, and then all people couldn't come and all of that. We're burying eggs, literally. We're digging sockaways to bury eggs. I didn't have to, but then of course I would rather gift out or probably sell at 50% or whatever just to get it off and all. But then many other farmers, it was very, very, very tough and difficult for them. Insecurity increased. I was robbed twice in my backyard house in 2021, I think. Yeah. Once they came in successfully. No, not successfully. Okay, there were two incidences, but the second time they couldn't get go away with anything because we had gotten a dog at that time that was unleashed once the gatesman knew someone was in. So he just ran and then flew off the campus. So it was unbecoming, and for the sake of my young children at the time, I just felt that it was going to be the best idea to leave, because up until that time I had been highly patriotic that Nigeria would make it happen.
That you stay in Nigeria,
but then we just had to, and then we had options of where and where to. So it now became, where do we go or how? Of course, UK was not in the picture.
Why?
Sorry to say. I think the only reason why I like UK is probably the proximity home.
Yes.
So I can always come here. I can sleep in UK and wake up in Nigeria. That's just the only thing. But then UK is their system. Okay, first, the pathway to naturalizing to a British citizen is not as clear. I think up until recent, it used to be 10 years. It takes donkey years and all. I think until recently, where many of those countries started easing up
citizenship.
And that became easier. That's one. Then two.
But Australia, does it take donkey years?
No. The pathways in Australia, they are quite clear. They are quite. You can if you are lucky to. I know people who have gotten PR first before
PR?
Permanent residents.
Okay.
Yeah, in about 3 years and all. But then there are people that have been in Australia too for maybe 8-9 years that don't have PR too yet anyways. But then it just depends the hunger you come with, and then you need to have that vision to. Knowing that you're coming there fine, you're working, you're making money, but you are not distracted. The goal is to get PR, to get citizenship. But then for some persons, because they are not seeing money, they just want to keep. So long as they can pay their bills and then so yeah. So
the late Archbishop Benson Dahosa said, "You can't be a lizard here in Nigeria and go to America and become an alligator." That means whatever you are here in Nigeria, you're likely going to replicate over there.
Yes.
So, do I say that you are truly representing us well over there in Australia?
To the best of my knowledge, in my small family space, because one of the things, unlike in UK where there is a large black community, African community, but then in Australia, you have no friend, no family, no foe. You're all by yourself. So if it's in my closet of my home, pretty much yes, I have.
Wow.
So, but
what kind of work do you do there?
Currently, I'm in the health industry. I'm a support worker.
Okay.
In the health industry.
Your wife too, support worker?
No. She was a chartered accountant. Yeah.
Yes.
So she did support for a short while, but then she has transited back into an accounting field.
Okay.
And all. It's not as the accounting field overseas is not as serious here, because they have many of what's it called? Like they are not valued as much over there, because there are systems in place that do the accounting software. There are software, there are stuff in place that just do things and all. But then she wants to do that because she's invested the most of her life on it, and all of that. So, but then, she's just trying to create a niche for herself. So there are accountants too that probably do way well, but then it will just take time to build that portfolio. She probably needs to, apart from abandon her Akin here, probably do their own professional thing over there, learn their own accounting thing and all that. So, but she's doing accounting, and then I'm doing.
You've had all your children here, so there's nothing like, okay, we want to have a child over there.
It's not in the immediate picture to have another child for now. Well, maybe if I become a citizen, I might want to have a child. Yeah, but then it's not in the immediate.
Wow.
The conditions of our visa does not permit, because it's costly. Like I said now, at least the first 2-3 years, it's actually very costly for us, because we are not getting any support from government. Unlike the UK where schooling for your children is free. It's not same in Australia. Yeah, it's not same.
So you have to pay?
Yes, full school fees.
Wow.
As because of the class of visa we are on, which is student. My wife is still studying.
Okay.
Yeah, so she will be done, I think, May. So until we're able to change that class of visa, things are
going to be.
It's not even a wise decision to think about having a child at the moment. So,
Wow. Akin, nice talking with you.
Thank you very much.
I see that you are already looking at your time.
No, I had a message actually. I had a message on my phone.
You want to finish? I don't know.
I had a message actually.
You guys that have jackpot, like, hey, what will we say now? Yes, Akin, I do believe that God, who orchestrated your steps to Australia, and the God of Joseph that we serve, He will announce you.
Amen.
Joseph went to Egypt. God announced him on the basis of grace, on the basis of favor. Yes, he was a good worker. You too, you are a good worker. I know you love working. That's the thing. That's one thing I know about you. You like working, doing business, making money and all that. So God will give you ideas, give you connection. You're doing what to do. That will be very outstanding. So can you give a parting word to YDs all over the world? You know, some of them that will be watching you or listening to you, or talk to young people out there that really want to go to Australia. What's your counsel? You know?
Oh, okay. So it's two questions now.
Yes.
So I'll just answer quickly. My parting statement first will be one-liner. Never ever forget your roots. Right there is roots for many of us. And just like I was having a chat with mommy outside, and we're reminiscing over many things in the past, how we came about YDI, how YDI shaped us. And I think that if, and then she mentioned the statement too, that if we want to check amongst ourselves, no matter how far apart many of us are now, we'll see that the best of our friends now are people that we grew up in YDI together, whether we are close together or far apart or not. And then so, just to say, don't forget your roots. The friends you make in the early stages of your life are probably most likely going to be more useful to you than the ones you make much later. So that's one. And then two would be advice for anyone thinking of conceiving Australia. Like I said earlier, Australia is a very beautiful country and continent where systems work. Everything works. There's value for life, there's value for money, there's value for time, there's value for human beings and all. So there are systems in place. I mean, I got as I landed at the airport and I was picked at the airport, I was going to cross a zebra crossing. I'd forgotten I had come into Nigeria, and then I was almost hit by a car. At the airport, Lagos International Airport.
You mean it?
Yes. You won't come close. I mean, once you see a zebra crossing, you must slow down. You must slow down and all. You give right of way to pedestrians.
Try that here now.
So he was at that point, he occurred to me, dude, behave and all. And then the first week when I came, I couldn't even drive because it was absurd seeing the way people were driving. Like, it was crazy. Like, hey. But then, after spending so much on Uber and Bolt and all of those, I had to sit myself down. No, I need to join this madness with them for the short while I'm going to be. And then, of course, I've been used to right-hand drive and all, but I had to. just
okay. Over there is right-hand drive.
Oh,
okay, like London.
Yeah, like Britain. So but Australia is very beautiful. Systems that work, value for everything. If you're not lazy. Like I said, in the first few years might be rough. We will be rough. It's still been rough. But I mean, thanks to the preparation we had. And then a few things that I was able to liquidate to at least cushion some of those expenses at the initial stage and all. But then it's a promising, and there are not too many people. Just like I was telling, is it mommy? There are not so many. There's no large African or black community, so they are not polluted. Like so someone told us, we don't even want to make Nigeria or Africa plenty because it's not polluted. I hear of incidences in the UK now, and I'm not surprised. Robbery incidences, daytime robbery, pickpocketing, and all of that. So they are infiltrating the UK already now because of the large number of people they are bringing in and all. But Australia is not easy to come into.
No, not at all. Dr. Shegun told me that.
It's not easy to come, but once you can find your way into Australia, trust me, the sky is a starting point. Over time, if you remain focused, if you remain hardworking, if you pursue and then keep at it, you will.
Thank you so much, Akin. God bless you, real good. I do believe that you're going to keep in touch.
Yes.
I want to say that the God factor is very important. Anybody that wants to travel out must be led. That's very important. And I was discussing with you before we came in here. I tell my young people, do you want to go out of the country? Seek permission from God. Is God leading you? If God is not leading you, you're going to suffer really bad. Because there are so many jobless people, even on the streets of London, There's one of my sons, I won't mention him. He has refused to call me now. When he was going, it was like, wow, that was it, blah, blah, blah. He went to study, he had issues. Come back. I said, come back home. He said, no, it's not coming back. You know, his brother was the one that sponsored him, helped him and all that. I said, look, young man, if God is not behind your relocation, you are going to suffer. In the book of Genesis 26, Isaac was to Japa, Nigerian language now, you know it's becoming popular now. Yeah. He was supposed to Japa to Egypt. God said, don't go anywhere, stay in Gerar. I will bless you. And he listened. He was in Gerar that God blessed him and he got Rehoboth. If he had gone to Egypt, he wouldn't have gotten it. Okay, see Joseph. God permitted that he should go to Egypt and he was able to secure it. But when he came to this other person, he said, don't go. You know? So the God factor is very important. I'm saying this because you know, you're talking about Australia being a beautiful place, blah, 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 blah. I know so many young people watching or hearing say, wow, yes, the next place is Australia. The next place is Australia. After all, Philo Akin said, yeah, it's a beautiful place, blah, 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 blah. Please help me emphasize that don't leave Nigeria until God leads you. Because even in that place, you can suffer. If not, the next moment, since you say they are not even taking people, they will just tell you after you have reached their domot, that's their border, they say go back. You know, so help me tell them before you go.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Please look, somebody is looking at you now.
That is just very, that's actually very important. I probably just overlooked that
angle.
Yeah, that angle, because I probably just assumed that, of course, everyone would have been sure, taking care of that before you decide. So for me, I think when I was convinced about leaving, I think the direction as to what country, became a source of discussion or concern for me, because it was now caught in between Canada, Australia. Of course, Canada would have even been my first go-to, because I've got a sister in Canada, which would have probably helped. There's more, there's a bigger community, African community in Canada and what have you and how. Even though Canada too has snow, currently they are doing -20, -12. Yeah, but then I think there was a leading, there was a nudging in our spirits, myself and my wife, that we got, that we knew it was Australia. And then we did our research. We contacted a few people one person over there actually that we have known, and then we just got convinced. So yes, you cannot rule out that factor. You cannot rule out that part. It's very important. You need not to be greedy. Leaving out many other important things. Because you are there now, you've not seen money before, and then now you get here, you know that once you work, you would get paid. There's no controversy about it. Once you work, and then of course, in many other developed countries, you work per hour. So at times when you are checking the time, if it's almost your closing time, you'll be like, but what I want to go do for house? If I work another 1 hour, 2 hours. Now, if now that one I change into naira, and then it's just telling on you. You don't know psychologically, mentally. You don't know it's telling on you. So just don't go and overwork. Just don't go and live like a slave. Just don't go and if you give it time, if you give it time and leave it to God over time, you will achieve what you plan to achieve. You will, and then not leaving behind any other thing, not leaving behind family, your children, or many other things you're supposed to pay attention to when you were.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, listeners. We've just had a wonderful time chatting with Akin Onifade. He's a fellow in the Ministry of YDI, the elite group. It's a wonderful moment that I have with you. A wonderful moment, honestly. We're going to be talking about this maybe till Jesus comes.
Yes.
Because for me to come to Australia,
yeah,
it's a very long distance.
Yes.
And you will be the one coming to visit us.
But then, if we have a large community like it is in the UK, of course, we are happy to bring it.
Oh my goodness! Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you
bless
very
you.
much, Pastor.